Coming up on Sports Scene, we honor the legacy and impact of Jackie Robinson, plus big moments from the WNBA draft. What a night for the Bruins, and who's a real contender or sleeper in the NBA playoffs. We got you covered right here on Sports Scene. Welcome back to Sports Scene. We're back. I'm Alana Morgan.
I'm Kyle Loquet.
And I'm Nikki Thomas, and we have a special anniversary to celebrate on the show today.
Today is Jackie Robinson Day, marking 79 years since Jackie Robinson broke Major League Baseball's color barrier on April 15th, 1947, which reshaped the game and helped pave the way for greater equality in sports.
Robinson was a pioneer in Major League Baseball, making his impact known in the sport. He had a career batting average of .311 and won Rookie of the Year in 1947, the same year that he broke the color barrier. After winning the National League MVP in 1949, he also helped the Dodgers win their first World Series against the New York Yankees in 1955.
Jackie Robinson is the most impactful sports athlete in the history of this country. Not just baseball, he changed this country and what it would meant to be a black person in the United States as far as being accepted, and it was a monumental moment.
Now, don't be too surprised when you tune in today and you see everybody wearing number 42. All MLB players wear number 42 on April 15th to honor Jackie Robinson's legacy. That has gone on since his number was retired back in 1997. Made his MLB debut back on April 15th, 1947, as Alana said.
And as Nikki mentioned, to honor his legacy, all MLB players, manager, and coaches will be wearing number 42, celebrating his lasting impact on the game. A legacy that continues to shape the game today and one that will never be forgotten.
With the fourth pick in the 2026 WNBA draft, the Washington Mystics select Lauren Betts, UCLA.
It's been record after record for the Bruins, with 6 Bruins drafted to the WNBA. Now, when we go further into it, taking a look back at the draft, you have Lauren Betts and Angele drafted to the Mystics, Gabriela Jaquez to the Sky, and Kiki Rice to the Tempo. That's just to name a few. From their presence on both the offensive and defensive end to their size and veteran leadership in becoming champions, it's been quite the season for the Bruins.
Honestly, probably Kiki. She had an amazing year at DC, and she's someone I look up to, and I've looked up to for a really long time. And I had my freshman year with her at Stanford, so this is like a amazing opportunity, and I know she's going to help me a lot. So just really excited.
Taking a deeper dive into the Mystics, it's all about building the young core. Head coach Sydney Johnson is emphasizing growth as they try to turn things around after a tough season last year. Now, Kyle, Nikki, what are your thoughts? We now have a new 2026 WNBA draft class. I want to know, how are you guys feeling? Any shockers that you guys saw that kind of caught your eye?
Absolutely. Yeah, Tania Latson dropping to 20 is the steal of the draft. I think the Sparks picked up a really great piece in Latson, but I'm surprised she fell so far. Never averaged less than 20 points during her career and actually led D1 in scoring in her junior year with just over 25 points a game. This was a really surprising move for me. There's a lot of players that came in from the Spanish national team. Those players, it'll, remain to be seen how they'll play with these groups. But Latson dropping, great pickup for the Sparks, obviously. Do I think there were 19 players better than her drafted? Not quite.
Yeah, I think the shocker for me was obviously Flau'jae getting traded to the Seattle Storm. I mean, for the Valkyries, I don't really know what the movement was there for that, but honestly, I mean, she's a great player at LSU. She was averaging 14 points a game, shot 46% from the field, but they traded her for the 16th pick and a 2028 second-round pick. That 16th pick ended up becoming Marta Suarez, but I mean, I think the Storm got the best of this one. Flau'jae is a great player. She was a great player at LSU, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do in the WNBA.
Yeah, and something that I want to also talk about is just the growth of women's sports. women's basketball. AZ Fudd now receiving 6 times larger than last year's #1 draft pick.
That's a statement.
A lot of changes, especially in women's sports. So good to see this happening.
Crazy to see those numbers together just from last year to this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, all in all, what a special draft class this year. And it's going to be exciting to see the impact that this group will bring.
Breaks free, gets it, 7 seconds, ball the drive, and ball lays it in! There's no timeouts left for Miami. Charlotte up by 1. The drive blocked. It's over. Mitchell got negated.
Well, I guess we know that no one can guard LaMelo Ball, and you can put the camera on everyone because the Charlotte Hornets defeated the Miami Heat in the play-in tournament Tuesday night, 127-126, in exciting fashion. After Ball's go-ahead layup to put the Hornets up by 1 with 4.7 seconds left, Miles Bridges came up with a clutch block at the buzzer to seal the deal for Buzz City. It's that time of year again where the NBA playoffs are back in action and the race to the Larry O'Brien Trophy starts now, with some familiar faces in the mix along with some new ones. The Portland Trail Blazers went into Phoenix last night and handled business. Denny Avdia led the team with 41 points and 12 assists, coming up clutch in the final minutes to put the Blazers past the Suns 114-110. Looking at the playoff picture, you got the Thunder and the Pistons in the #1 seeds, and they will play the winner of the play-in tournament. And I think the matchup that everyone is waiting for is right there between the #3 seed Nuggets and the #6 seed Timberwolves. The Clippers and the Warriors will face off tonight for a potential spot in the playoffs. Both teams just faced off on Sunday, with the Clippers getting the upper hand 115-110. The Los Angeles Lakers have been going through it after losing Luka Doncic for the rest of the season with a strain in his left hamstring and aren't expected to see Austin Reeves back on the court until the first week of May. Shea and the Thunder will be trying to go to the free throw line as much as possible in hopes to make it back to the finals for the second year in a row. The Thunder currently have the best defensive rating in the NBA, with Shea averaging 30 points per game, ending the season with the best record in the NBA at 64-18. The Detroit Pistons will have the #1 seed in the playoffs for the first time since 2007. Cade and them will be carrying the Motor City on their backs. The Pistons lead the league in points in the paint, averaging 58 points per game, and were ranked the best team defensively during the second half of the season. Well, we talked about the obvious #1 teams to watch heading into the playoffs, but who are some of your contenders that you guys have your eyes on?
I mean, you just mentioned it, the Pistons. I think the Pistons is a very strong team. They have that young talent. Also, Cunningham on the offensive end, Jalen Duren on the defensive end. That inside presence really adds, and I think this is a very strong team. We've been able to see that, and I think they have going to take it all. I'll say it here. I'm calling it out again. You never know.
Yeah, I'm worried about Cade coming off of injury, worrying about what his production will look like. I like the Celtics out of the East. Let that be said. Don't put me on a poster again. I like the Celtics out of the East, but I think the Cavs could be a sneaky contender, right? They average around 120 points per game. They'll be up against the Raptors. The Raptors are 5-22 against the top 10 NBA teams this season, the top 6 in the West and the top 4 in the East. So I think it's a pretty good matchup for Cleveland. Now, if they want to get any deeper past the Raptors, it's going to need a lot of depth. It's going to take a lot more from Evan Mobley, a lot more aggression. We'll see how that goes, But I like the Cavs as a sort of low-key sleeper. I understand people are not really all that high on them, and they haven't looked, entirely so great earlier this season, dropping those 3 to the Raptors. But since acquiring James Harden, looking a little bit better.
They've been looking good. I think for me, obviously from the favorites that everyone has their eyes on, I'm looking at the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets, they have that experience. They have the playoff experience, finals experience. Jokic not having the best season to his standards, but right now he's leading the league in most rebounds and assists, averaging the most per game for a player. But honestly, I mean, they have the best offensive rating in the league, especially when it comes to field goal percentage. They're the most efficient when shooting the ball inside the paint. And I think this is a team that they've had the experience before. They can take that into the playoffs and also give some of these Western Conference teams a run for their money, even with the Thunder. But the Thunder are going to be tough.
You think the Thunder?
They're tough to beat, but I got my eyes on the Nuggets. I think it's going to be interesting with them. Well, the race to the Larry O'Brien Trophy has officially started, with the playing games currently taking place and will be happening throughout the rest of this week. The first round of the NBA playoffs will start this Saturday, April 18th.
USC baseball soon faces a crucial conference matchup, and as the Trojans head into a tough weekend ahead, they need all the wins they can get. The problem is they lost last night. A late game push wasn't enough to lift number 12 USC over Long Beach State. The Trojans going 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position and 5 for 31 overall. Chase Harrell picked up the loss, allowing 4 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings pitched. And Caleb Anderson on the other side, 6 innings, 9 Ks, 0 earned runs. USC looks ahead to a weekend series against Nebraska. After a hot start, the Cornhuskers have dropped out of the D1 baseball rankings, going 3-3 in their last 6. But the margin for error is thin, giving a new Big Ten tournament format, and anything could happen. Both teams will definitely have to play smart, but now let's send it over to Liam to break down some of those plays for us. Liam, what you got?
Well, Nikki, while you took a look at the upcoming schedule, let's take a look at this past weekend. Sequencing is one of the biggest parts of a pitcher's success. And USC southpaw Mason Edwards was a direct example of that this Friday night, striking out 16 hitters. So step into X's and O's, I'm Liam Ervin. Let's break down how Edwards turned every at-bat into a guessing game. Take a look at the double box right here. Left is going to be a breaking ball. Right is going to be a fastball. Talk about sequencing a lot of the time in pitching. Sometimes casual fans will say to you, why are hitters swinging at balls in the dirt? This is the exact reason why. You see the trace right there? Both balls in the same plane end up in different spots. That one in the dirt, that one down the middle for strike 3. So the left side hitter trying to think that that's a fastball low. Right side hitter expecting the breaking ball gets frozen on the fastball down low. And then the first 9 strikeouts of the day for Edwards were swinging. The next 5 were looking. Why was that? He once again went back to the sequencing. Edwards right here will throw the backdoor breaking ball. Take a look at where this pitch location is. It's coming in atop the zone. So far, Edwards has set up the low fastball. He set up the breaking ball in the dirt. He hasn't thrown the breaking ball for a strike. Third time through the out order, he pulls it out. Backdoor breaking ball, strike 3 right down the middle of the plate. So Edwards being deceptive, setting up his pitches, understanding his sequences, and switching things up through the order. The Iowa Hawkeyes hitters confused the whole game about where pitches were located, what to swing at, what to not. Ended up striking out 16. That tied Barry Zito's record for 3rd all-time in a game for a Trojan. That was back in 1999. But it wasn't just the lefty who swept the series this weekend. Nikki and the crew have some more on some other contributors.
Thank you, Liam. Well, let's talk about it. Which USC stars are going to have to shine the brightest for this team on the back half of the season?
I think one guy I'm going with, it's Kevin Takeuchi. I think he's been the most consistent all year. Right now, he currently leads the team in batting average at .312, 44 hits on the year, roughly averaging about a hit a game. And this is a guy that can do everything, do it all. It's been pretty consistent throughout the year. He's also 90% when stealing stolen bases. So he's stealing the bases, getting the job done, really making his presence known around the bases and for this USC team. But I got my eye on him. I think he's going to have to come up clutch for the second half of this season if the Trojans want to come out of it successfully.
Yeah, now I'm going with Augie Lopez. Now, he is someone who has power at the plate, 11 home runs so far, and I think he's able to show up and be able to provide for the Trojans. We saw that against UCLA, despite the loss, but making them have that tie in the 6th inning. I think he is someone that will really just continue to help the Trojans dominate and have those wins, and I think he's a great person to look out for.
Yeah, I'm jumping on the Mason Edwards train with Liam. We're both aboard. 53 1/3 innings pitched, 8 earned runs, 95 strikeouts, including the 16 against Iowa on Friday. Just a machine. They're going to need him and the other starting pitching to go really long. Their middle relief has been kind of gassed and struggling lately. And like we mentioned, the Big Ten tournament is coming up. Those top 4 seeds in the Big Ten are going to get a bye through the double elimination first round. So those teams coming in to face the top 4 are going to be exhausted. It's a huge benefit to get one of those top 4 seeds. And that 2-6 is really tight right now. So you got to beat Nebraska. You hopefully should beat Purdue. Right? You got to beat Oregon later in the season, but Oregon also still has to see UCLA, who is separated itself to say the least. Right. So facing a matchup that could have postseason implications, the Trojans have a lot to play for this weekend. Still ahead, we'll preview the weekend for USC beach volleyball with 2 regular season matches to go against some ranked local rivals.
And USC men's volleyball getting up and getting down, adding another W in the win column in their recent match against number 10 BYU.
It's been a busy week for USC athletes, and in this segment, we'll hear from Joshua Sacker on his top plays.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I'm Joshua Sacker, and welcome back to Trojan Top Plays of the Week, where we highlight the top recent USC highlights. Let's get right into it. Starting off at number 4, let's go to the diamond. Mason Edwards with the nasty four-seam fastball for the strikeout. Augie Lopez guns the runner out at second for the strikeout throwout for the Trojans. USC would go on to win 9-2 against the Hawkeyes and complete the series sweep. At number 3, let's go to the pool. 1.5 minutes to go, up 1. Megan McKinnich with the strike to put the nail in the coffin. It advanced the Trojans. At number 2, USC women's lacrosse. Ball moves to X, goes to Kaylee Fravor. Emma Bunting shoots and scores. She fakes high, goes low, sends the game to overtime. USC would unfortunately fall 11-10 in overtime. Last but not least, Jaden Dumdumaya at 17 at the Western Intercollegiate Tournament. A pure swing, puts the ball high in the air, spin back for the hole out eagle. He would move to 8 under on the tournament. Dumdumaya needed to wait for the crowd to see if the ball actually went in. Finally, he sees the fans, they cheer. He gives the reaction, a little fist bump in the air, a high five for his fellow golfer to cap off the number 1 play. That's all for Sports Scene Top Plays of the Week. Stay tuned for more great plays throughout the upcoming weeks. We'll toss it over to Nikki to give us some beach volleyball highlights.
Thank you, Joshua. After weeks on the road, number 3 USC Beach Volleyball returns to Merle Norman Stadium to face number 1 UCLA for a quick trip to number 9 LMU to end the regular season. UCLA took the last duel 3-2 against the Trojans on Saturday, with the Trojans' top 2 duos falling in straight sets in that one. It was USC's 3rd loss to the Bruins this season, each match feeling more competitive than the last, but the Trojans unable to break through against the top seed. On the other side, USC has beaten LMU twice already this season, with the last win also coming on Saturday. Kennedy Coakley and Zoe Henson in the top flight, with Ashley Pater and Sarah Wood holding down the 2 spot. Then the 4 is Kyra Zangle and Kalinda Koch, 3-setter to seal the Trojan victory. Tournament play isn't far off for USC Beach Volleyball, and with plenty of tough opponents on the postseason horizon, these late-season ranked tests could be telling.
Number 6 ranked USC men's volleyball collected a 5-set win on the road over the number 8 BYU Cougars after falling short in the first match, splitting the series at 1 win apiece. 4 Trojans scored in double digits, with senior outside hitter Dylan Klein leading the pack with 16 kills, making it his 79th career match with double-digit kills. The Cougars won the first and third sets, and USC fought its way back to close it out in the 5th set. The Trojans will look to play their next opponent, the Pepperdine Waves. The Waves have just 1 loss in conference play and are currently on a 2-match win streak. As a team, they have a hitting percentage of .377 against their opponents, while averaging 45 kills a match. Looking at the MPSF standings, UCLA is currently holding the lead, going 11-1 in conference play, with Pepperdine following up right behind them, then with USC and BYU in the 3 and 4 spot. Now, Alana has more on the 5-day forecast.
Thanks, Kyle. It's a new week, big matchups, and plenty of action. I got you covered. Starting off with, well, today, men's golf will be competing in the final rounds of the 79th Western Intercollegiate Tournament, where they currently lead the field. Thursday, we're going back to the Battle of LA. USC has an exciting home matchup against the Bruins. It's senior day, and the first 100 fans will receive a Not Like Us USC t-shirt. You won't want to miss it. Friday, USC baseball hits the road for a series against Nebraska. And now, speaking more on baseball, we talked a lot about their most recent loss, looking to bounce back this weekend against their series with Nebraska. And now Saturday, Klein is looking to continue to shine as USC men's volleyball faces Pepperdine for the 2nd time this week. And lastly, Sunday, men's tennis will be facing the Ducks in Oregon as they look to maintain their winning streak. Well, that's all for this week's forecast, but it's time for Trojan of the Week. Casey and Terrence, take it away.
Enough of the weather. Let's take a look at the sunny side of Trojan of the Week. We welcome you to our little nook right here. I'm Terence Holton, joined alongside by Casey Kaslner, and unlike my partner, I'm taking a first-time Trojan of the Week. Give me Parker Tompkinson. Now, in 2 matches against BYU, Tompkinson racked up 12 total blocks and 18 kills in a tough road trip to Provo, where USC walked away with 1 match victory, earning Tompkinson MPSF Defensive Player of the Week honors.
1 home run this week, meh. 2, that's okay. But 3, cowabunga. USC baseball slugger Augie Lopez is up to 11 bombs on the year after going yard the last 3 games. USC swept Iowa over the weekend thanks in large part to Augie's surge, and despite losing to Long Beach State on Tuesday, Lopez is now up to 6 RBI in his last 3 games. He's been versatile too, Terrence, homering on both fastballs and off-speed pitches, looking like Ken Griffey Jr., as hitting coach Travis Jewett would say.
This is the second week in a row where you have not in a row, but the second week this year where you have compared him to Ken Griffey Jr.
I haven't compared him to Travis Jewett.
But you have on air been comparing him to Ken Griffey Jr. And I do take a bit of anger with that, solace with that, because that
really?
just
I make you angry.
Yes, quite often you make me angry.
Can I just say something?
I just think that when you earn Defensive Player of the Week, no, you can't say anything. When you earn Defensive Player of the Week, then that is automatically, I think, puts you in a category above someone else. No, that's what I think.
Home runs are more important than blocks. I don't think those
it's
are
all
the
relative
same
to the game. It's all relative to the game.
Men's volleyball lost to BYU?
They did lose one of them, but they came back and bounced. I mean, don't think that really matters because, as we mentioned, or you mentioned, I should say, baseball lost to Long Beach State yesterday.
Got a sweep, though.
Okay, but they also
3
lost.
3 wins, 1 loss. Your team that you picked, 1 win, 1 loss.
But
the math
that's all. They didn't play 4 games. I don't know what to tell you. If they played 4 games, then maybe they would have won 3 of them. This also comes to the constant problem that we always have, where I choose someone who plays against tough competition, really getting into it. And this guy right here is always going to take the team who's stat padding against the easier teams.
That's not true.
It's a consistent problem we have all the time.
But your guy wasn't stat padding because he didn't lead the team in kills. He was nowhere near the top.
Of course, he
kills.
wasn't stat padding. He was in a tough game.
He wasn't padding at all.
You can't stat pad in a close game.
But he wasn't padding at all, and losing 3-1 is not very close against BYU.
First off, all the sets were close. Second, they won the next match 3-2 in a close one.
Okay.
They went to 5. Are you going to dispute that?
What are you going to say about 3 home runs in the last 3 games?
Solid, but I think in 2 of his games he went 1 for 4. If you're the Trojan of the week, you need to be consistent across all games. That's what Parker Tompkinson was. Augie Lopez,
he was in the shadows of Dylan Klein.
He was solid. Everyone.
He was in the shadows of Dylan Klein.
And guess what?
And Augie Lopez was in the shadows of Augie Lopez.
He still earned Defensive Player of the Week in the MPSF. 8 blocks in that first match against BYU.
But you're not addressing the home runs. I don't really understand.
No, and those were solid, but 1 for 4 in 2 of those games, not consistent across all of them.
That's my final point. A ball 400 feet, blocking a ball over the net when you're 7 feet tall. I don't think those are in the same wavelength. But okay. Well, Terrence has yet to watch a USC baseball game this season, so I don't think he could have won. But next on Sports Scene, both Southern California NHL teams have clinched Stanley Cup playoff spots. Will the Ducks or Kings advance? And the ABS challenge system is exposing umpires by the day. We'll break it all down on Sports Scene.
The regular season is coming down to the wire, but the 2026 Stanley Cup playoffs finally kick off this weekend. The Los Angeles Kings clinched a West wildcard spot with a win against the Kraken and a Predators loss on Monday. The Kings took the 5-3 win thanks to 2 goals from Quinton Byfield and 1 each from Trevor Moore, Alex Laferriere, and Adrian Kempe. The Kings hoping to break a 4-year streak of first-round exits, but the Anaheim Ducks, meanwhile, reaching the playoffs for the first time since 2018. Anaheim on a bit of a slide, winning only 2 of its last 10, but hoping to get out of an offensive slump. The Ducks led by Cutter Gauthier with 40 goals and 67 points on the season. Now we'll send it over to Casey Kasliner for a deeper look. Casey?
For the first time since 2018, both Southern California NHL teams, the Ducks and the Kings, are in the playoffs. Let's see where they both stand upon contending for Lord Stanley. Now, recently, the LA Kings have completely flipped the script. They fired Jim Hiller, bring in interim head coach DJ Smith, and with the insertion of young players like Jared Wright, adding some new energy, and then goalie Anton Forsberg surging at the right time, as you can see, LA has won 7 of its last 10. Much better than the Anaheim Ducks on the other side, completely flipping the script. The Ducks were the hotter team at the beginning of the season, but now the Kings are. Anaheim has now lost 8 of its last 10 due to some poor defense in front of Lucas Dostal. Right now, the Ducks are second place in the Pacific and the Kings are third, but that could change. Even though both teams have 90 points, both teams have 1 game left to play. The positioning could change. The Kings could play 4 different teams potentially as the playoffs heat up. But we'll send it over to Kyle for the new ABS system.
Has the MLB finally got the call right? Many fans have been challenging the system that has been put in play this season in Major League Baseball, and many seem to have some mixed feelings about it.
Outside! The loudest cheers of the game. The Reds have hit 2 homers, come on back-to-back challenges.
There's one umpire that many say his calls are so bad that Stevie Wonder could see them. C.B. Buckner has not been the fan favorite behind the plate so far this year after having 26 missed calls and 6 calls overturned by the ABS system. So far this season, players have been having a good eye with the ABS challenge system. 54% of challenges from players have already been successful this year. Pitchers and catchers have had a 61% success rate across the plate, with batters having a 47% success rate. Well, we've seen a lot of success with the ABS challenges this year. Do you guys think that umpires will start to become extinct as this ABS challenge system keeps continuing, especially further in play in MLB?
Now, extinct? I don't think so. I would hope not. I'm not a big fan of the robot umpires, but I will say that it does give that extra opportunity for players to be like, hey, check that, this isn't right, like Suarez, what we just saw with the Reds being able to have those calls overturned. So I'm not a big fan of the robots and things turning to technology to fix the situation, but I do think that it's important to give players that extra opportunity to have that look over.
I think there should be some sort of middle ground. Is there nothing between just completely blindly trusting the one guy behind the plate and having robots? Could we not call upstairs to some other umpires, right? Something like that, you know, when you're watching football and they're like, well, we're taking it to New York. Why can't we do that sort of thing? It's because the whole thing is about streamlining. It's about making the game faster, which is not the point of baseball. Baseball's a leisure activity. It's a pastime for passing time.
I mean, to make the game faster, it's almost contradicting with the pitch clock and now the instant replay of the ABS challenge system. I think it's beneficial. I mean, obviously it gives a chance for the players to have what they think is the best call, and ultimately it's kind of worked out in their favor. Like we saw, 54% have already been overturned, so it is working. But I also think, like, for the umpires, some of the times they got it wrong, like, you know, Buckner, but I think it's a good success rate, but also there's some time where they're going to have to think about it, because I think they're going to put a limit on it for sure. Well, the ABS system has been pretty successful this early in the season, proving some umpires wrong, and it looks like the MLB may have finally got the call right.
Well, that's all we have this week on Sports Scene. Once again, I'm Alana Morgan.
I'm Kyle Loquet.
And I'm Nikki Thomas. Make sure to follow ANN Media Sports on Instagram and X for all of our USC sports coverage.